What do I know about the Me Too campaign?
Around the time it was coming up and being known in social media and broadly, I had also just had my own story, highlighted on the Kenyan media around how I went through a very nasty case of domestic violence in a marriage of 18 years.
We've had stories either on the media, we've had stories within the communities, we've had stories on papers, we've had stories everywhere.
Being an actress, an upcoming actress, these things, it has happened to me before.
Majority of the women who responded, and men as well, kept on saying me too, me too, me too. So that really got to me asking, what is this Me Too? And is it a movement that I don't know about? So then is when I got to hear about the origin, in Hollywood.
These actresses who came out and in the open to talk about their experiences, as in how they were violated, socially, physically, emotionally.
The Me Too campaign began when Ashley Judd, an actress in the States, opened up about her encounter with movie producer Winston. And I think it was important that she did that, because many a times when you're faced with such experiences, because of the stigma associated with it, you tend to go quiet about your personal experiences, or even if you hear about it, you just go quiet about it.
The Me Too movement, I know it has been around, but it has resurfaced again based on the allegations in Hollywood with the Winston Harvey case that has kind of stirred up a conversation in women all over the world. So it's not so popular here. I mean, there has been many other campaigns on gender violence, but the conversation again has resurfaced, and it just shows how much work or effort needs to be done in terms of the society understanding what consent means and what it means to respect a woman's no.
Of the perpetrators are people who are in power, people who are untouchable. And except we get a movement and we get millions of voices speaking about this issue at the same time, often they get away with it. So it is important, because now we are getting to know that it doesn't really matter who you are. You are a perpetrator of gender-based violence. Your place is already defined in society, and that's behind bars.
I think we've listened to such experiences for such a long time, even from our own environment, that we've turned a blind eye to that matter, when it actually should be the opposite way. That we should actually now start concentrating on what it means, and that we can no longer keep quiet about these experiences.
It's very difficult to speak out if you think you will be ostracized, if you think you will not get justice, and if you think that your life will become more worse, so you'd rather just keep quiet.
Cases of gender-based violence is a global challenge. It should be declared a global disaster, because whether you're here in Kenya, Nairobi, Kariobangi, or you're in Hollywood, if you are a woman and there's a man, that has power over you, just right there, you are so vulnerable to any form of gender-based violence.
The hashtag #MeToo is very, very important to me, because our society, especially, I'm giving an example to our society, the African society or Kenyan society. We always put issues to do with gender-based violence under the carpet. I think it's best to speak them out, to talk about them openly, and let people know that these things exist in our society, because the more we put them under the carpet, that's when we realize that maybe a neighbor has been killed, or a child has been killed somewhere, or somebody's rights have been violated. So it's better to speak about them openly.
Every woman, if you are in whatever environment you are in, has experienced some level of gender abuse or gender violence, sadly. And I think it's something that shows there's such a level of retrogression in the society. And I think that conversation needs to be opened up so that women can be more productive in the society and women can move around more freely. I think a conversation needs to be addressed on what that means to women, and why they need to be protected, and why, I think it's more of a conversation rather than an accusatory thing. Yeah. I mean, for the perpetrators, of course, you want the law to take place, but I feel in general a conversation needs to take place again on why we respect women and, you know, what does that mean to the young generation coming up.
I think we're making progress when it comes to women's rights issues in Kenya, because there are many more women nowadays who are coming out in the open to actually advocate for these issues and campaign for reforms on domestic violence, on equal pay, on political representation, which I think it's important even for other young women to see, because you cannot be what you don't see. So I can say we're making progress. Yes.
I think there's a lot that has been done in terms of legislation and policy making. So what we would like to see is implementation. The state has a right to protect, and it's a constitutional right to protect each and every citizen in this country. So we'd like to see them actually do that.
If we continue with this campaign, I think we're going to find, or rather, maybe whatever we are doing, we'll do it in a genuine way, and also it will help people to be given opportunities according to their abilities, not according to what they can offer.
To me, it's not just a standalone hashtag. It's something that has been there through the years. It's cultural, it's social, it's political, and it's something that cannot be negated. It's a discussion that must be put on the table for practical application.
When you keep quiet, it means that it continues to happen. The perpetrator never gets caught, and he continues to offend, and he gets bolder as he gets away with it. So it's important that we create an environment where victims and survivors feel that they can speak out, and that even they can get the kind of support they need, whether it is psychosocial support, whether it is medical support, and sometimes even education for the kids that are born out of such a situation. And the state should be able to provide that, not just at national, but even at county level. So in the future, I'd like to see county governments actually having a plan for certain survivors and victims of gender-based violence.
Many a times we are nominated for positions and not elected because we are perceived to be lesser beings. But I believe women have the capability, we have the know-how, and to be in certain positions. So I don't think we should be taken like flower girls.
What I want to accomplish is a world of gender equality, where both men and women have equal rights to sit at the same table from the same platform and engage on opportunities and issues that affect broader communities. Well, at 45 years old of age and a survivor of gender-based violence myself, I see myself in very many women, especially the younger ones, who are going through what I went through or even worse. And now that I have learned over time, gathered skills, gathered the courage to even speak about it, to share with the world what my story has been. And every time I do that and I see a turnaround in the life of a young woman who was struggling with something I struggled with a couple of years ago, that really inspires me and gives me the drive, to keep going, trying to change one person at a time, one life at a time.